Your mind is either your greatest friend or your most dangerous enemy. And right now in this moment, it is one of those two things. Lord Krishna says this directly in the Bhagavad Gita. And once you understand what he means, you will never think about your own thoughts the same way again. Have you ever laid awake at night, your mind replaying every mistake you made that day? Every embarrassing moment, every worst case scenario for tomorrow, every worry that may never even happen. Or maybe your mind does the opposite. It distracts you constantly. You sit down to focus on something important, and within minutes, you're somewhere else entirely. Thinking about a conversation from last week, wondering what someone meant by something they said. We think of this as normal, but Lord Krishna would say, this is not just distraction. This is a battle, and most people are losing it every single day without even realizing there is a war happening. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, in chapter 6, verse 6, Lord Krishna speaks these remarkable words.
Bandhur atma atmanaha atasya yena atmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartatet atmaiva shatruvat.
Which means, for one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, the very mind acts as the worst enemy. Read that one more time. The same mind, the same organ sitting inside your head right now. Depending on whether you have mastered it or not, it is either lifting you toward your highest potential or quietly pulling you toward your own destruction. This is not poetic language. This is a precise psychological truth that Krishna identified thousands of years before modern psychology had words for it. Your mind uncontrolled does not work for you. It works against you. And the tragedy is, most people never even question it. They simply believe every thought their mind produces. Krishna describes very specifically how an uncontrolled mind becomes your enemy. Let me share 3 ways this happens in your everyday life. The first is through attachment. An uncontrolled mind constantly craves pleasure, approval, security, comfort. And when those things don't arrive, or when they arrive and then leave, the mind suffers. It becomes restless, anxious, angry. Not because life is bad, but because the mind has become addicted to outcomes it cannot control. The second is through doubt. An uncontrolled mind constantly second guesses. You make a decision and immediately the mind whispers, was that right? What if I was wrong? What will people think? This doubt does not protect you. It exhausts you. And it stops you from taking the actions that would actually move your life forward. The third and perhaps the most subtle is through comparison. An unmastered mind is always looking sideways at what others have, at what others achieved, at what you haven't done yet. And in that constant comparison, peace is impossible. Because there is always someone ahead. There is always something you haven't reached. But here is what Krishna says the controlled mind does instead. A controlled mind is sthita prajna, steady in wisdom. It does not swing wildly between excitement and despair. It acts from a place of clarity. It is not indifferent to life. It is unshakable in the middle of it. That is the mind Krishna is pointing you toward. There is a beautiful analogy Krishna uses in the Gita. He compares the controlled mind to a lamp in a windless place. The flame burns bright, steady, unwavering. It illuminates everything around it. An uncontrolled mind is that same lamp, but placed in a storm. The flame flickers violently. Sometimes it gives light, sometimes it nearly goes out. You cannot see clearly by it. You cannot rely on it. The wind is your thoughts, your emotions, your desires, the opinions of others. They will always exist. Life will always bring wind. The question is, where is your lamp? I want you to think about someone you admire deeply. Perhaps a grandparent, perhaps a mentor, perhaps a great spiritual leader. What is the one quality they all tend to share? They are not easily rattled. When you bring them a problem, they don't panic. When life brings them difficulty, they don't collapse. They have a stillness inside them that does not depend on what is happening outside them. That is not luck. That is a trained mind, a mind that has been, as Krishna says, conquered. So how do you actually conquer the mind? Krishna gives us a clear path, and I want to give you 3 practices grounded directly in the Gita's teachings. Practice 1. Witness your thoughts, don't become them. The Gita teaches Sakshi Bhava, the practice of being the witness. When a thought arises, worry, anger, craving, don't chase it. Don't suppress it. Simply observe it. Say to yourself, there is a thought of worry. I see it. You are not the thought. You are the one who notices the thought. This one shift alone begins to loosen the mind's grip on you. Practice 2. Anchor yourself in the present action. Krishna's teaching of Karma Yoga, acting fully in the present moment without obsessing over the result, is itself a practice of mind control. Every time you catch your mind in the past or future, bring it back to what is the right action right now. Not tomorrow, not last year, now. This is not just philosophy, it is a daily mental discipline. Practice 3. Feed the mind what you want it to become. The Gita tells us the mind takes the shape of what it rests in. If you fill it with anxiety, comparison, and noise, that is what it becomes. If you fill it with wisdom, with reflection, with purposeful stillness, it transforms. This is why the ancient practice of Swadhyaya, self-study and spiritual reading, is not just enrichment. It is medicine for the mind. None of these practices are difficult, but they require consistency. The mind was not conquered in a day. It is a slow, patient, daily work. And every single day you choose to do it, you become a little more free. Krishna does not ask you to destroy your mind. He does not ask you to become emotionless. He asks you to become the master of your mind, not its slave. Because a mind that serves you is the most powerful instrument in the universe. It can take you to your highest self. It can bring you peace that circumstances cannot touch. It can make you, as Krishna says, your own best friend. But that requires one honest question asked every day. Is my mind working for me today or against me? And if the answer is against you, that is not a failure. That is information. That is the beginning of the work. Jai Shri Krishna. If this teaching helped you see your mind a little differently today, subscribe to Gita Wisdom. Every week, one verse, one truth, one practical teaching from Lord Krishna for your real life. And tell me in the comments, what is your mind's biggest habit? Overthinking, comparison, or self-doubt? I would love to hear. Let's grow together. See you next week.